while, I'll still do them. But yeah, no, there's enough work to go around. And I think DJs, what they need to do is once they need to get that mentality out of their head where, like jobs are scarce and I gotta undercut people and, I gotta steal people's gigs from clubs or whatever. That ain't cutting it, man. That's trouble, man. When you do that, then everybody loses.
Yeah,
everybody
It
loses.
devalues. Our
yeah,
services.
because you start off. Let's say a DJ starts off charging $300, and the guy undercuts him to 400, and another guy cuts that guy to 300, so on and so forth. And at the end, the club owners only want to pay like $50 a night.
Even for like a mobile gig, if somebody's undercutting,
Well,
not only are the people hiring the DJ gonna lose out because they're getting a lower service, but the better DJs are losing out on the gig, and the actual DJ of the gig is getting paid nothing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's one good example of undercutting is all the mobiles. There's guys out there that'll take a concert sound system and only charge you $200 for like 8 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And those guys, a lot of those guys are just starting off. They can afford all that equipment, and they'll go in. And the guys that actually are good and they're experienced, and they're gonna charge you a few bucks more. But then again, when the party's over, your guests are gonna be happy. And I've had a lot of people that I know that they've hired these guys. Oh, hey, well, he's only gonna charge me $150 for the whole night. Why not? And at the end, oh man, this guy was horrible. He was only he played the same song like 5 times or whatever. And that's what it comes down to. It's they think it's easy money, and it really isn't easy money because just to go out to DJ, you have to go take in consideration. You got gas, you got to pay your insurance for your car. All that stuff. It all adds up, and at least just to walk out the door to a gig is like $150, just to walk out, to the gig, just drive out there. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's easy money, but it really isn't, because like myself, what I do is I prepare, I talk to the wedding party, the quinceañera people, whatever event that I'm doing, I talk to them and I keep in contact with them, try to get, I give them a list of, songs that they want me to play, and the wedding party, for the quinceañeras, the chambelanes and damas and all that stuff, and sometimes they'll want me to do slideshows and I need all that stuff, and so I'm working on that in between the gig. So there's also work involved behind the scenes.
DJs think that let me just charge by the hour.
Yeah.
It's 6 hours. I'll charge you $50 an hour. For 6 hours, that's $300.
Yeah.
But they don't take into consideration all the what I call hand holding.
Yeah.
With the client, all the talks and conversations and on the phone and through email and the music list and itinerary and the rehearsals of the wedding. You got to go to the rehearsal the day before or a couple days before. People don't take that into consideration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The traveling back and forth, the unloading, setting up. So I've figured out that a 6-hour wedding, normally, a normal DJ probably puts, at least I do, puts in about 20 to 25 hours of working. Downloading songs if I don't have them, and getting songs prepared and music lists and everything. You're putting in like 20, 30 hours of your time.
Yeah.
Not just the 6 to 12 at the hall. So you got to take that in. Another thing I wanted to ask you guys: why do you think that this whole DJ community, this whole DJ industry, it's so jacked up? I know why. I have my ideas, but why do you think, like Sam? Why do you think it's so crazy?
Well, for one, some people say it as a competition. So, just like anything, two people trying to compete for a gig, they're charging lower and lower and lower until like they're basically giving away their services. There's also the fact that now that technology is coming in, it makes it so easy for people to be a DJ. They just go out and get a laptop, get some music, and a sound system, and they think they're a DJ. So, I mean, with the evolution of technology, it's starting to make things real easy for DJs.
And we all like technology. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly.
I've said that before. I mean, if you know your shit and you really, want to learn the craft and go all out with it, you can use the laptops. I use laptops and all my MP3s, man, I love it. I don't have to bring all my records anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything's on my computer or whatever. I love that. But, you got to know the basics. You got to know the fundamentals. Don't just jump in there and willy-nilly it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not knowing the difference between... I know DJs that call themselves... I'm not making this up. They call themselves professional DJs. Professional sound engineers, even. And they don't know a balanced cable from an unbalanced cable. They don't know that. They don't know stereo from mono. They don't know bridged from... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't know that. But yet they're professional. I think the reason is because the reason why this industry is so fucked up, man. It's because there's no schooling, there's no licensing, there's no unions. Nobody's keeping an eye on this thing. Nobody's saying, yeah, this guy is certified or he is a real pro, but this guy isn't. There's no apprenticeship program. There's no... Anybody can just literally from one day to the next become a DJ.
Yeah.
Go get a credit card, max it out, put all kinds of equipment on, you know what I mean? And just start putting ads on online and in the phone book and whatever. Get a website. Boom, you're in.
Yeah.
There's nobody keeping an eye on this. We are all little satellites spinning in outer space, and we're going by our own rules, our own laws. It's like the Wild Wild West. It really is.
Yeah.
He might charge $100 an hour. This guy charges $50 an hour. Oh, well, what about this guy? He only charges $25. That's a better deal. How about this guy? He'll do it for a case of beer. There's no rules. It's the Wild Wild West, man.
Yeah.
It's whatever goes.
That's true. I mean, you wouldn't hire just a guy, an electrician off the streets. You would want to get a certified, electrician. So it's kind of the same thing like what Joe mentioned. Well, I think sometimes too, I mean, my personal opinion for a lot of these, the industry's being messed up. There's just a lot of these companies out there. And, it's more of a business now than the passion for music. I think the business part is okay because I mean it's the good part because that's what makes you the money.
Yeah.
But you can't just be in it for the money. You got to be in there because you love to do this. And if you have a passion for this, you're gonna do a really good job, and your customers are gonna be, really pleased with you. Rather than I have this business and I get 1 million gigs a year, and you go in there and then you're just winging it and you can just get the gig out of the way.
Yeah.
And just doing your thing, you leave, and I think it's about making friends, and you get a personal experience and you build a personal friendship with your clients. Just within that moment. A lot of times I've had, I have clients that I got hired. Was it like 2007? I think 2008, 2007. I think it was her brother's graduation. I did that, and ever since then I've been their DJ. I've done her wedding. I did her cousin's quinceañera. I did her cousin's graduation. I did her graduation. Her baby's baptism. Her husband's birthday. Her mom's birthday. So on and so forth. If they ever need a DJ, they call me, and it's because I built more than just the clientele. I built a friendship with them, and they're personal friends of mine now, and I can say they're my friends. Shouts out to them, to Moritz and Rafa.
It's gotten to a point where the whole internet, going back to what Sam said, with the technology and the internet and all that, and websites, it's getting to a point now. It's already gotten to the point where it's just there's literally I don't know 10,000 DJs in Fresno probably.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
I'm just guessing, and they're doing whatever they want. I'm not against people following their dreams.
No,
If they want to be a DJ, great. We all were rookies at one time. We all sucked at one time. We all had janky ass gear at one time, but we wanted to learn the craft, and we learned it, and we took it seriously to get to where we are now. I don't have a problem with rookie DJs, with DJs that don't know what they're doing really. I have a problem with the DJs that don't know what they're doing, that are lying and saying they're professional. If you don't know, like the first couple of years I started DJing, I knew I wasn't professional. I knew I couldn't do a wedding. I knew I couldn't do a corporate event. I couldn't do a quinceañera. That's why I did all my little backyard house parties. I'd get offers to do them, and I'd turn them down because I wasn't qualified. I had that much sense to say, I don't want to fuck up this person's event,
Exactly.
this special wedding or whatever, just to make a few $100 or whatever. Nowadays, I don't see that. I see DJs jumping on it when they don't have any experience as wedding DJs, and they're calling themselves professional. If you're not a professional wedding DJ and you want to become one, learn from one. Go to, tag along, be a helper to one that a DJ that's already doing it. Help them out for free.
Yeah.
Go take notes. Go. I used to go with a pad and a pen. When I first started doing weddings, before I did weddings, I met a guy that was already doing weddings. He was a few years older than me. I don't know if I told you guys this.
Yeah.
And I used to go literally with a pad and a pen, and I used to write down everything he's doing, how he did it, the music that he's playing, and he would share music with me. He would give me what are called standards, wedding standards, stuff that you gotta have. In every genre of music, there's standards. And I used to soak it all up. I soaked up as much game as I could, man, and I learned. And then I learned from other DJs that were doing it too, just to get different views and everything. And I did that for like over a year, and till I thought I was good enough to go out and venture off on my own and start doing it. And I did. Nowadays, it goes back to like I was saying, DJs don't give a fuck. They just go out there, fucking half-ass it, and bomb. And it's sad because it's somebody's wedding.
Yeah.
It ain't no little kid's backyard party anymore.
Nope.
It's a corporate event now. These people are paying thousands of dollars for this event, and you go over there with your fucking home stereo and
And a laptop.
yeah, and you just make a mess of someone's event.
You know, and I've seen that often. I've seen it. You know, I've seen it in person, and you just like, man, you just feel like, I don't know. You feel bad for the bride and the groom because
Yeah.
these guys, you know, this is a, for a lot of them, for a lot of people, this is a once in a lifetime thing. You know, their wedding, they paid a lot of money for this, for the DJ to mess up the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that you can ask anybody in any wedding. You can ask them, you know, no one's gonna remember what the food tastes like, if the cake was good, or if the decorations were nice. Everybody remembers the wedding because of the music. If the music sucks, the party sucks. And who plays the music? The DJs. So it goes all back to us, you know. So that's why we have to step our game up and just don't go in blindfolded. You know, you gotta know what you're doing.
I was talking to Sam about this earlier. I think a lot of DJs now, they're just skating by. They're doing just enough to get through the gig without getting sued, without having complaints, without having to give any money back. They just want to get through that. It's just another job, another contract that they fulfill, goes in the history books. They just want to get through it, and then off to the next gig, then off to the next gig, the next week, and the next week. They just want to get through it. They don't want to impress. I don't see DJs impressing their clients anymore. I don't see DJs really knocking it out of the park anymore. I used to see that. I don't see it anymore. I see a bunch of DJs that play the same